Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole, and today we're talking about one of the best and most well-known indie rock acts of all time, Wilco. And this is their third album from 1999 called Summerteeth. It's kind of a long album. It's like an hour long, 16 tracks. So it's kind of ambitious. It's an interesting mix of indie rock, alt country, and electronic elements. So it's got a really cool sound to it. It's pretty varied. So even though it kind of like dips in quality slightly here and there, I think as a whole it's a beautiful album, and I hope you guys like it. I'm excited to talk about it. So I've got some clips lined up as usual. So let's jump into track number 1, which is called Can't Stand It.
Phones still ring, and singers sing. Speakers are speaking in code. What now? Well, anyhow, our prayers will never be answered again. You know it's our beginning. It's our beginning. Feel like it's ending. Feels like it's ending. No love's is random. It's God's love. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Yeah, just a very catchy, energetic, fun song to kick off this album. Although it's kind of a downer lyrically, right? He's touching upon religion and how, you know, the speakers speaking in code, I would interpret as being preachers preaching to their congregation, right? So this guy's kind of religious, but it sounds like he's been praying to God. He's having a rough time. We're not sure why, but he's been praying to God, and his prayers are not being answered, of course. he's so frustrated by it. He can't stand it, right? Because he says, no love's as random as God's love, and I can't stand it. So this guy, for some reason, is buying into the whole charade, even though like he knows firsthand that none of his prayers ever get answered. So this guy is just like, he's totally confused by this whole religious thing, you know. So he believes in it for like no real reason, it seems like, because it's not working out. So yeah, it's kind of a strange song lyrically to kick off this album, but I like it. But anyway, so that's track 1. Let's move on to track number 2, which is called She's a Jar.
She's a jar with a heavy lid. My pop quiz kid, a sleepy kisser, a pretty war with feelings hid. She begs me not to miss her. She says forever to light a fuse. We could use a handful of wheel and a day off and a bruised road. However, you might feel tonight is real.
Yeah, I love the sound of this record. It's so interesting. And, you know, he's talking about a girlfriend of his who, I like how he puts it, right? She's a jar with a heavy lid. So she's got all of these secrets that she's not letting out. And it sounds like he's probably trying very hard to get closer to her, to try to like find out about her past and her feelings and her dreams and stuff. But she just won't budge. She's just a heavy jar, or she's just a jar with a heavy lid, right? And it's interesting because, you know, she's keeping this guy around because, as she says forever to light a fuse, is what the lyrics are. So she's teasing this guy, she's tempting this guy, she's keeping him around with promises of forever. But this guy's getting pretty frustrated, is what it sounds like. You know, he wants to really know this person intimately, but she won't budge. But as we mentioned, she's, you know, doing everything she can to keep him around. So it sounds like she probably had a traumatic past or something that she doesn't really want to talk about. You know, so geez, I hope she wasn't molested or something, but it seems like it's possible. But anyway, so that's She's a Jar, another excellent song. Side A on this album is pretty crazy. It's pretty good. So let's move on to track 3, which is another favorite of mine. It's called A Shot in the Arm.
We fell in love in the key of C. We walked along down by the sea. You followed me down the neck too deep. We fell again into the sea. Shot in the arm, maybe all I need is a shot in the arm. Maybe all I need is a shot in the arm. Maybe all I need is a shot in the arm. Maybe all I need is a shot in the arm. Maybe all I need is a shot in the arm. Maybe all I need is a shot in the arm. Something in my veins, bloody in the blood. Something in my veins. Bloody in the blood, something in my veins. Bloody in the blood, something in my veins. Bloody in the blood.
Yeah, my goodness. Okay, so let me try to explain what I think is happening here. So it's the same couple from She's the Jar, and it sounds like our guy's a drug addict. He probably takes heroin, and it makes him feel good. And the girl who's miserable because of a past she's not willing to reveal to us, she wants to feel good. So she follows him down, as he says on the lyrics, but she follows him down into the sea. So I interpret that as she overdoses at some point and dies, right? So when he says, maybe all I need is a shot in the arm, you know, he's feeling absolutely horrible that he got his girlfriend into drugs and then she died on top of that. But the only thing that can make him feel better, right, is taking more drugs. So he's just gone down this spiral that he probably can't escape. So this poor guy, what a depressing way to start this album. You know, even though sonically speaking, it's really interesting the way these songs sound. But anyway, that's all I want to say about track 3. So let's move on. I'm going to skip track 4. There's just a lot of songs on this album, and I don't want to make this like 40 minutes long. So I'm going to skip to my favorite parts. So let's skip to track 5, which is another favorite. It's called I'm Always in Love.
Why I wonder is my heart full of holes, and the feeling goes when my hair keeps growing. Well, I said the sun on a big wheel wagon. Oh, I'm bragging, I'm always in love. When I let go of your throat, sweet throttle,
Yeah, this song is just insanely catchy and memorable. I mean, geez Louise, Jeff Tweedy, come on now. But this song is kind of interesting. I had a little difficulty trying to figure it out, but it sounds like maybe this is their same guy who takes a lot of drugs, and so maybe he's on a lot of uppers or even ecstasy because he's always in love. But as he puts it, his heart is full of holes, right? And the feeling goes, but his hair keeps growing. So like he's in this weird state of mind where he just loves other people, probably women, but maybe everyone. And it's all just empty love. Like it's not real love. So, you know, it enters his heart and it leaves through all the holes in his heart. So it doesn't stay there. So this guy is like, I'm assuming what he's saying is he's high all the time, you know, so like he's always in this great mood. He's full of love for humanity, but it's a false feeling that doesn't last. So that's how I kind of interpret this song. I could be wrong about it. You know, feel free to let me know your thoughts on that. I'll check it out. But again, it's one of my favorite tracks from this album. It's just so catchy and memorable. But anyway, so let's move right along to track number 6, which is called Nothing's Ever Gonna Stand in My Way Again.
We'll find a way, regardless, to make some sense out of this mess. Well, it's a test, but I believe, I guess it's all we need. All the above, being in love. Shouldn't that alone be enough? All this talk and love's a weed that grows inside of me. Nothing's ever gonna stand in my, nothing's ever gonna stand in my, nothing's ever gonna stand in my way again.
Yeah, so this song is kind of interesting because I'm not entirely sure if it's the same character. But if it is, we can assume from these lyrics that he feels terrible that his girlfriend is dead from an overdose, as we've established. But he keeps falling in love. He's in love with a girl at the moment. But it's not enough, as he says. You know, he's basically saying that, like, he's got this new love. She loves him, but it's not removing the pain in his heart for his ex-lover who died. You know, and he's kind of just wondering, like, why the heck can't this just be enough to get me out of my funk, right? So he's kind of frustrated. And so when he says nothing's ever going to stand in my way again, it sounds like he's kind of like, you know, in his thoughts telling himself, like, okay, don't let it get to me. Don't let it get to me. You know, I love this woman. Don't let the past get to me again. So it sounds like he's trying to convince himself to snap out of it. That's what I think about when I hear these lyrics anyway. But I really like this song. Sonically speaking, it's really cool. I'm going to skip track 7. It's called Pie Holden Sweet. There wasn't really anything I wanted to say about it, so I'm going to skip to track number 8, which is called How to Fight Loneliness.
How to fight loneliness. Smile all the time. Shine your teeth till meaningless, and sharpen them with lies. And whatever's going down, follow you around. That's how you fight loneliness. You laugh at every...
Yeah, this is probably my favorite track on the album, just lyrically speaking. He's going deep, right? He's recognized, our main character has recognized finally what the real deal is with most people. Most people are struggling with a lot of things, loneliness being one of them, but everybody puts on, their big boy shoes, as the saying goes, and they pretend like everything's fine. They smile through the pain. So you may look around at people throughout your life when you go to a restaurant or you go to a cafe or whatever, and people might appear to be fine, but really down deep, you have no idea what's going on with them. They probably are having trouble, and they're just not letting you know about it. Because nobody who's a stranger is going to let you in on their issues, right? That's just not what happens. So this guy, he killed his girlfriend by accident through an overdose by introducing her to heroin. And he's in a lot of pain, and he's lonely. And he's finally realized the secret to life, which is that you just have to smile through all the pain, right? The way that you fight loneliness is you pretend you're okay, is more or less what he's saying. So yeah, I really like this song. And again, it's just beautifully composed and played. But anyway, that's all I want to say about it. So let's move on to track number 9, which is called Via Chicago.
I dreamed about killing you again last night, and it felt alright to me. Dying on the banks of Embarcadero skies, I sat and watched you bleed. Buried you alive in a fireworks display, raining down on me. Your cold hard blood ran away from me to the sea.
So this is a very key moment in our character's development, right? Because he's been dreaming about killing his ex-girlfriend, and we even learn a little bit more about what happened exactly. So it sounds like she started bleeding, and he didn't want to get caught, I guess. Maybe he was high and he was paranoid, but he didn't want to get caught, and he buried her alive out on the beach, which is just awful. So no wonder this guy feels terrible all the time. But it's a key moment for him because he says he dreamed about her again, but it felt all right. So I imagine he's probably finally accepting this is just what happened. I can't let this get to me for the rest of my life. And even on some level, he's probably recognizing that he was the drug addict at the time, so he wasn't really in a position to tell her no, so to speak. And on top of that, she also has her own agency, right? She could have not taken the drugs. So it's not entirely his fault that she overdosed. She made up her own mind, right, to some extent. So he's kind of finally getting over it a little bit. In our previous song, he learned how to fight loneliness and depression by just smiling through it, by manning up, so to speak. But now he's also finally on this track, forgiving himself somewhat. So that's good. We're improving. But anyway, that's Via Chicago. So let's move on to a really interesting sounding song on track 10, which is called ELT. It's got a really kind of interesting electronic thing that he experiments with. So let's check it out. Yeah, so again, we're dealing with this guy's journey to become bitter. And as he says, he should have been listening to what I guess his current girlfriend was trying to tell him. But I guess he found her really annoying, which is why he says that he wishes she was dead. So like in the moment, he was probably really frustrated and wanted her to just shut up about the whole thing, right? But she was trying to help this guy through this, and he wouldn't listen at the moment. So because of that, he just ended up alone again, you know. So this poor guy, he had to move away to Chicago because, you know, the previous track was via Chicago. So it sounds like he moved away from home to escape all the memories, I would imagine, of his previous existence, wherever that was. So it sounds like not only is he forgiving himself, but he's moving away to further help distance himself from the tragedy of killing his helping to kill his ex-girlfriend, you know, being partially responsible for, however you want to put it. So it just sounds like he's just thinking about it more. He's really considering the words that his girlfriend, after his dead girlfriend, he's got his dead girlfriend, and then he's got his girlfriend after the dead girlfriend, and that person was trying to help him. So now he's really thinking about what that person was telling him. So good for this guy. He's finally like learning a thing or two. But anyway, that's ELT. That's all I want to say about it. So let's move on to track number 11, which is called My Darling. Yeah, so it appears that our hero has gone home, right? The song is basically his mother trying to soothe her son, you know, trying to help him deal with all of this grief and suffering. So maybe she knows what happened. So like he's back at home because I guess he tried living out wherever he was. We're not sure where exactly, but it didn't work out, clearly. So, you know, he needs to restart his life, so to speak. So he's going back home to restart his life. And it sounds like his parents love him. At least his mother does. So she's helping him out, you know, trying to rebuild something that's broken. So this poor guy, but at least he's got a loving mother. So there's that. There's one last track that I want to talk about. It's track 12, the next track. It's got a really wonderful piano type sound to it. I really like it. It's called When You Wake Up Feeling Old. Let's check it out.
Up, feeling old. This piano feels strange purse, stuffed nervous with gold. Can you be where you wanna be? Walk down any street you can find. Look at any clock telling time. Sing some strange verse from some strange song of mine. You'll be where you wanna be.
Yeah, I just absolutely love the sound of this song. Like, the piano work is pretty incredible. Just a beautiful sounding song. And it sounds like our hero has found his calling possibly with music, or at the very least, when he says, sing some strange verse from some strange song of mine and you'll be where you want to be. So it sounds like he's feeling better by playing music. And perhaps he's playing a certain type of music that makes him feel good. So, like, his way of healing possibly is to, play uplifting music and to channel his woes into lyrics that he shares with his audience. That's what I imagine this song is about. It's just the power of music to heal, all of your wounds, so to speak. So I really like this song. But this is the last track I want to talk about. Again, I skipped a few tracks on this album. I don't want this review to be crazy long. It is an hour-long album with like 16 songs on it, 16 or 17 songs. And it does kind of, I'll admit, stutter occasionally. It's an ambitious album, as I mentioned. He fuses a lot of different styles together, which is pretty admirable. And I think for the most part it works. I really love this album, especially side A, the first half, which is just great song after great song after great song, in my opinion. But anyway, yeah, so this is Summerteeth by Wilco. I hope you thought it was interesting, And as always, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Whatever you have to say, I'll check it out. But yeah, Wilco, check them out. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe. I'll continue to make more. But yeah, have a good night.